Hey everyone!
Hey, butter.
What's up?
Do you like horror movies, scary stuff?
You know it, man.
Why wouldn't I?
Well, where do you get your horror? You find a lot of specific streaming services for it, or a general service that has some small collections?
I've accrued and amassed a great assortment of horror films throughout my years and travels through the Siberian deserts.
Do DVDs still count?
Haha,
Because
no.
that's where I have them.
And I have a treat for you, and me, and our dear listeners. We've been brought to you all today in by Arrow Video, a London-based platform that is a streaming version of the Arrow Video channel, full of iconic cult and hidden horror films alike. Arrow is a must-have for the horror fan community.
So wait, is Arrow Video available now on compatible devices and apps such as Android, Apple, Amazon Fire Sticks, Roku, and all web browsers? Can we also try Arrow now for a 30-day free trial?
You said free trial, a 30-day free trial, and I can watch horror movies every day of the week? Nightmares, suspense, all at the easy touch of a button? That's insane.
Haha, exactly. After the free trial, you can sign up for Arrow Video for $4.99 a month or $49.99 annually.
So could I decide to cancel after a few months?
And I can keep it going for a whole year and bathe in a year of cinematic gore fests?
Right you are. Arrow is the host of new horror and old horror alike, such as The Deeper You Dig, a wonderful suspense, and a new movie that everyone should know about nowadays.
And Texas Chainsaw Massacre, remade for the 4K and as gory as ever. More to see include Ringu, Reanimator, Deep Red, Hellraiser, and more.
If I could put Hellraiser on infinite repeat in my household throughout the entire year, I would literally become a Lamech configuration. So you're telling me that Arrow Video is available now in the US, Canada, and the UK rollout is going to be in 2021? If you want a gruesome, horrifying, and haunting stories to creep into my own brain, and I need to let Arrow pierce into my absolute essence, this is the way to go.
That's right. Arrow is here to stay, my friends, and we will certainly be screeching tonight as the body parts fly. Thank you, Arrow Video, and we ask all of you at home to go sign up for that 30-day free trial. 30 days will last you just long enough to finish Halloween and get through that horrible family experience right into the Thanksgiving. Thank you, Arrow.
Thanks, Arrow.
Thank you, Arrow.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
No tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
Fairly alarmed here.
Welcome to MOTN Reviews. This is Masters of the Nerdiverse Reviews, where we take a look at some of cinema's most shiniest supernovas and some that are not so brightly lit. This cappuccino of a podcast can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Google Play, and Spotify. I'm, of course, your host, Mike G, and we are filled to the gills with hosts this time. We have a double docen, a triple latte of hosts this time. So I would like to first introduce, always a friend of the channel, Miss Tootie Odin. How's it going?
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going. It's
Very
definitely going. I was trying to get some coffee puns going to roll with you, but I'm out.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And of course, with us as always is the co-host with the most, who's smoother than the butter you place on toast, Ozzy Austin.
And I am the espresso of this podcast. I am smooth, rich, and much more desirable.
But
Yeah,
are
that's
you
good.
are you a cinnamon
Good.
coffee cake cappuccino though?
No. I am the espresso that you drink at 2:00 in the morning because you realize you have a deadline to meet and you are freaking the fuck out.
Oh, so you're the anxiety flavored one.
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure.
Mm.
You ever had anti-coffee?
What the hell is anti-coffee?
Where you know how you take a shower, you take a shower and it doesn't take. You're still sweaty, but you drink coffee, but you get more tired.
The idea of getting sweaty while in the shower is the most terrifying image I've ever heard. Of just, you get so terrified in the shower, you just start breaking out in sweat while you're still wet.
Mm-hmm.
God.
It's not meant for humans. Toots, you ever been in like extremely humid climates? And You take a shower, you get out the shower, and you dry off, and you just break out into sweat again.
And it doesn't help that my cat's shedding because he's shedding all over my face. You know what I mean? I mean, that sounds disgusting, but I mean, he really is. Like, I'm sweating all day. I mean, yeah.
You're turning into a Hermione Granger from Harry Potter there?
Like, where I live, this whole area is like a damp cloth right now. So it's gross. Humidity, no, is not my friend.
The cat shoots dander at you.
As far as sweating in the shower, though, I don't know. That's talent that I do not possess.
No, man, it happens in real life, in real time.
I mean, it's like 50 degrees over here in the part of the country I'm at. So I'm feeling all nice and snuggly with a little warm cup of coffee and some slippers and sweatpants. I feel great.
You got your hot cocoa, bro?
No, I got coffee. I don't need hot cocoa. I'm not a child.
You mix the cocoa with the coffee and make an ungodly union.
You see, no. When I miss my coffee, I put in Jack Daniels because I'm going to have a fun day.
Okay. Once again, that's the anxiety coffee right there.
That sounds like a delicious day, actually.
There was one time I went to family Thanksgiving. Woke up next morning, Grandma made coffee, and Grandma's like, "Hey, sugar, you want some coffee?" I'm like, "Yes, please." She gets out the Baileys that she brought. It's like, "Okay, here you go." I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to get crunk, Grandma." She's like, "Oh, don't worry, there's no alcohol in this." I go up to her and say, "This is 12% alcohol, Grandma. Look at the label." And she goes, "Oh, that's why I like it so much."
Dang. Grandma in there doing the Harlem Shake at 1 o'clock in the morning, real time.
Ron Swanson coffee, for sure.
Dude, I know we're a little off topic before we jump into our subject of the review. What movie was it where they spiked like alcohol-filled punch with LSD and all these dancers start losing their minds? Did you catch that one?
I do not know.
The movie is insane. It's by the guy who directed like Irredeemable or Irreversible. Like there's this dance club that are just trying to let loose and have a good time, but some idiot spiked like alcohol-filled punch with LSD, and everybody started having these horrific trip outs while dancing.
I could not tell you. That sounds horrifying.
Yeah, I kind of want to see that.
I haven't seen it yet, but everyone says it's a freaking train ride. Speaking of train rides, let's dig into our film for today. Brought to us by Arrow Video Channel, which will be definitely a sponsor of this channel. So thank you, Arrow. More on that later.
Thank you, Arrow.
Thank you, Arrow. We wink at you real hard, like wink, like the Will Ferrell wink. Today we're going to be looking at 2019's, directed by John Adams, The Deeper You Dig. The Deeper You Dig. This movie, man, it went in places I was not expecting.
So I will say off the bat, this movie was a bit of a trip.
Yeah, it was a bit of a trip. What are your initial thoughts, Tootie, on this one?
Okay, first, like you said, it definitely goes places that I didn't expect it to go. But the very first thing I picked up on this movie was the camera work. You know, I like to be on the outside looking in on these types of things, but yeah, that's the imagery is really good. But you know, cameras in the snow is kind of cliche and cheating, right? Because it's always going to be beautiful. But I mean, I don't really care. And just the way the camera moved throughout the film was really.
Am I wrong to think
surprisingly beautiful?
Was this movie shot in like upstate New York? Is that the vibe I'm getting?
It's definitely along like the New York to Washington line in the country, I would imagine, because it's just pure snow along just like huge gargantuan trees, people wearing too many layers of clothes in a given year. Yeah,
this is beautifully shot, this movie.
Oh, I would agree.
Beautifully shot.
My question is, are all those dead animals real?
They look either okay, and that's the thing. And I want to get into that about this film. It's that in some sections, the graphics aren't, industrial light and magic, right? There's certain scenes where the graphics don't really stand up. But what I will say is, like you said, the carrion in this film looks real as hell. It looks legit, right?
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't the only one thinking, like, how'd they do that if it's not real? But you can't do that, right? You can't have, this isn't like the wild 70s where you can just do whatever you want, right? You can't just have.
No, I doubt. In fact, I feel like it was more of a progressive film than not to be punny, but like if you dig deeper into the film, I mean,
Nice.
I there's a transgender actor in the film. You know what I mean? So there's slight hints of progression in the film. I doubt they're going to use live animals to.
So
Yeah.
whoever is their graphics
I
person,
can't see it, but yeah,
Well,
it's
yeah.
that good.
It is actually quite impressive, I have to admit. Also, the music, it irked me. Like, it just kind of rubbed my skin with the sandpaper from the very beginning.
the music is weird in this movie because there's certain scenes that are so quiet, but that's the point.
Mm.
But then we have like this trip hop in certain places. You know what I mean?
That's a good word for it, trip hop. It's
Yeah,
just like,
it is.
it's just meant to be grating across your skin and soul.
It's very thievery corporation Portishead-ish, the music in this
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the plot a little bit. And I'm just going to read the IMDb 1-2 sentence plot summary, which is: in the aftermath of a roadside accident, the line between the living and the dead collapses for a mother, her daughter, and a stranger. In this case, this is kind of where the movie one thing I wish I kept was that blurred line of, is this all in these people's heads, or is this legit, sorcery going on?
Oh man, this is straight up haunted bullshit.
Yeah, and there's a second in my notes. There's places where I'm starting to think like a Telltale Heart, right?
Yes, that was my thoughts exactly. It was very Telltale Heartish.
At
first, my assumption is that her body was just going to keep reappearing.
Right? It was very Psycho a lot of time.
Yeah, okay.
I would agree with that. I would also say that they make Kurt kind of like just a pitiful human being from the Get Out. Just like when you first see him in the gas station.
The mom you're talking?
No, just
Daughter.
Kurt, the male.
Okay.
He's just straight up a pitiful human being. Like, he doesn't talk very much. He's got those tired ass eyes. He looks depressed. He cries constantly. Man just looks fucking pitiful from the Get Out, and I kind of like that.
Let's get into the characters. Yeah, Kurt is interesting in the sense that he's really the duality of man in certain ways. Where at one side he's like you said, he's very soft spoken. He doesn't even make eye contact with the teller. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
a very memorable person.
Yeah. But at the same time, he's like, I will murder your whole family. You know what I mean?
Apparently, right? Yeah, apparently.
You know what I mean? So, in Kurt's kind of progression in the film, even ties to what he's doing, which is renovating this old beat up house.
I just the idea of, I killed this person, I'm gonna just like put them in my house for a little bit.
I'm gonna build around them.
I'm gonna build around them. It's the most haunting of Hill House / Amityville horror bullshit I could ever imagine. It's like, oh my god, you are trying to be haunted by this teenage girl.
So she goes sledding late at night. He hits her with his car after a night of drinking. My thing is, once he takes her upstairs and he realizes that she's conscious, why does he make the decision to go ahead and kill her anyway?
Because he doesn't want to get in trouble with the police or being sued or anything like that, I imagine.
We don't know a lot about Kurt. I think he has like a dark past.
Well, I mean, to be honest, like, they don't really explain it. It's just kind of like an instinctual thing, which they could have done better with developing, honestly.
Like, why? Like, that's a very good question. That's what
I'm saying. Maybe like, if we can maybe try to guess what would have gone into his head. Like, it's an interesting thing not to elaborate on in a film like that. Not to understand why that's what he chose when she's clearly conscious. She was clearly going to be okay if he had just called the hospital, say, hey, I accidentally hit her. Maybe it was because of the whole DUI situation. Do you think that's enough to do that to a 14-year-old?
I think he panicked. I saw panic in his eyes.
Okay.
It's definitely panic. Kurt is a coward. That's the thing.
Okay, for sure. Yes, he's definitely a coward.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in that moment where he saw her come to life and she realized where she was, like, why am I in your tub in this dilapidated house, dude? What are you planning to do? And he legit panicked and was like, nope. You died, so you're dead.
So I just saw him put his hand over her face. Is that enough to kill a person?
If cats can do it,
tiny too. Her whole face. So.
If a cat could put his little paw over your mouth, if cats could put their little paw over your mouth and steal your breath, a giant human male.
This isn't 1700s, bro.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the cats.
if Tales from the Dark Side, the movie has taught me anything,
Oh my god!
is that a 4-pound cat could put his little paw over your mouth and you will suffocate and die. That's science. I can't.
So like I dig that Kurt's only time of bravery is when he has a gun in his hand, and then he realizes that it's not really people in his house; it's just fucking ghost stuff, and he becomes more of a coward. It's like, I love this. You are a stupid character.
The deeper you dig, man, this guy he double and triples down, dude.
Also, who uncovers a dead body at like 10 o'clock in the morning and reburies it and then decides to chop it up and put it into a well at 11 o'clock in the morning? Oh my god, do this at the cover of Night, you idiots.
There's no one out there. It doesn't matter.
There's always somebody watching, apparently.
No, it isn't, man. He's in the middle of nowhere, dog. 1,000 miles. His closest neighbor, and we'll go into Mrs. Minkley.
Yeah.
Let's go into the mom. Ivy. Yes, right. Ivy and Echo. Who's Mrs. Hinkley then? Anywho.
She is her client.
Oh, right. The old lady who's like,
Right.
I want to talk to my husband. And she's like, nah.
Oh, well, next time then.
This it's, you know what? In any other circumstance, Kirk would have been in the clear. But he happened to mess with the most magically endowed family
I
ever.
guess that is like the one
Rough
thing
break, dude. Rough break.
One thing I kind of liked is that the targeted victims are part of the occult society. And I'm like, okay, I kind of like that take. Just like they're involved or the occult witchy stuff that no one else ever is.
Next level tarot, dog. That's what I wrote down.
Yeah, next level tarot. That's a good one.
What I liked about it is that when you're first introduced to Ivy, she's taken as a swindler. You know, not a legit medium. You know, the mediums that we see on TV, a big phony. And then, you know, so for a while, I mean, for me anyway, I was questioning whether she was legit or not.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, it turns out, you know, you obviously you start getting the idea that yeah, she's real. So she's running it as a business, which is pretty cool if you ask me. You know,
she's ultra legit.
So actually, yeah, she's the ultimate, right? Exactly. It's the exact opposite of what the mediums, you know, the stereotypical medium, you know, you see today is like, you know, they're just gonna guess and you know, take a good guess and then take your money. But yeah, so she's introduced kind of like as sort of like a loser, and it turns out she's
godlike,
almost a heroine in the entire thing. But
can you imagine like Ivy giving Echo the talk as a teenager, like, okay, when you eventually die, I'm gonna teach you how to force ghost yourself into the person that will possibly kill you.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
Because Ivy was, like you said, Ivy was an onion, right? Because that first scene where she does the tarot reading, oh, she's a tarot card reader, and like you said, she's like, and she has this conversation with her daughter, like, yeah, this old lady's gonna come over, she's gonna ask her about her husband. I don't feel like doing it today, so I'm just not gonna entertain her.
Right.
And she shotguns her. She's like, the veil is thick. You know,
I personally love Ivy's scene when she first meets Kurt face to face at his house, and she's like, "You got an old house. Do you have a cat in your house?" And he's like, "Oh no, it's just old." And she just goes, "Echo." And she's like, "I'm gonna call you out."
That's one thing I love about this movie.
She hears a noise like a creak or something, right? And she hears something. And that's really smart, by the way. That's a smart mom move.
She knows he did it from the jump, but she just can't prove it. You know, and it's a mixture of her mother's intuition and whatever power she has going on. She knows he did it, but she just doesn't know what he's done. Very The Vanishing. You know what I mean?
No, and she doesn't do too much to get the police involved. She tells them, by the way, you guys really should look into them. She doesn't really do much else, though.
I like that aspect of it, this Law and Order kind of feel to it, where it's a police procedural because the police are trying to work with her, but she's not really working with them. And then she starts bleeding what she believes into them. And you can tell they're just like, man, whatever. I don't know what you're talking about at this point.
And like, honestly, the audience is like that. If you just don't get certain clues, like, oh, she picks through through Echo's book. Oh, the book is bleeding.
Mm-hmm. That's a good sign.
Okay. Yeah, that's legit. By the way, if I saw a book that just bled in real life, I'd be like, fuck this. I'm done.
We all float down here.
Yeah. Jesus.
Echo the witchcraft, or do you think Echo was dabbling on her own? Because she looked pretty damn surprised when she opened the book herself.
I think Echo was dabbling. I think her mother was teaching her.
You think both?
I can see that.
Because Echo was a goth. That has nothing. Well, one has nothing really to do with the other. But I I think Echo was in full control when she was kind of haunting this guy. You know what I mean? So her mother must have taught her something. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know.
So should we just jump into Echo then?
Yeah.
The 3G, the goth ghost girl.
The 3G. She upgraded to 5G.
The good, glorious goth ghost girl.
Let's roll with that.
Okay, whatever.
I couldn't think of anything better.
Okay, this actress, God love her. She needs some work, I think.
It's okay.
Like when she's being strangled in the bathtub, she's like, no. Don't.
Stop, no. She does the Willy Wonka.
Don't
Stop, no.
I had to stop and had to just kind of laugh a little bit. I'm like,
Stop.
oh man, it's gonna be this kind of movie today.
Okay,
Now-
so I did notice that scene was really subtle. I'm like, oh, that was kind of quiet. I just kind of thought that was the way they shot it. But yeah, maybe it was the. Yeah,
She couldn't kick him. She couldn't kick him in the knee or kick him in the other knee. She couldn't do any of that.
Or like bite.
Fight.
She also, who sleds at like 12 o'clock at night?
That first of all, that's Bush League
Right.
because you're an idiot. Because anything can just scoop you up.
The mother is an idiot for letting her go out. Like, oh, you're gonna be up all night. Don't drink that. Oh, but go ahead and go sledding. That's
Go
cool.
sledding at midnight. And it's something you can tell this is something the daughter's done before. You know what I mean? And
For
it's
sure.
like so. And this dude, and the thing is, we don't know how long Kurt has been there. Maybe he just moved in. As I'm getting the impression, because the house was super destroyed. There was Kurt living in that dilapidated house. Yes, he was, right?
I think it is. Yeah.
So this dude just fell up in there, was driving all drunk, and then, you know, you think Echo's going to be out the film immediately because she gets psychoed. She gets taken out early. But then she starts popping up in this guy's psyche and just kind of talking to him, you know, tell my mother what you've done, you know, and all that good stuff.
So I will admit, like, Echo killing random animals and placing them in his house I think it makes sense. I mean, yeah, just to really screw with them and like really mess with them, put death in the house and whatnot. It makes sense.
Okay.
When
so
she,
I have go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh, thank you. When she changes her look from like what she wore in the very beginning to all black with a cast on her arm, and she's on the bridge talking to her mom, like, I broke my arm. Sledding.
So
And it's like, oh my God, this is this is like, why are you talking to your mom? Just go kill Kurt, please.
No, one thing I did like about that scene is that she's talking to her mom through the radio, which I thought was a neat little ghost trick.
That is very nice, yes.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Neat little. Okay, one thing I want to talk about, which ties into Echo, which I need answers from both of you. What is the 7 circles?
I assume it's tarot card culture stuff.
Is it like, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh level, like I sent you to the Shadow Realm kind of situation?
Lord.
Is the 7 circles even a thing? Or is this made up for the movie?
Well, I know there's like 7 circles of hell, according to like Dante's Inferno.
Dante's Inferno.
There's the 7 seals in Revelations.
Yeah, the 7
So,
seals
you know,
to break
7
the apocalypse.
7 has a significant number, you know, throughout history.
It's a good number.
And this funny because she's went on 6 hunts, and it's super important for her to go on her final 7th hunt.
7 under 20, yeah.
7 under 20. And one of the most interesting parts about the movie is where she goes to visit her pupil. Ivy goes to visit her pupil, who's become this popular medium, I guess. In lack of a better words, the magical Negro. Just the one black guy who shows up in the movie.
God, and he talks like a robot, man.
He just smiles with those perfectly like pearly white teeth, and she's like, "Show me," and she's just like, "Open Pandora's box for me," and he's like, "You sure?"
It's like, what does it mean?
You'll see.
It's like, oh Christ, this is
fun.
Like the only person of color they had, they just like threw him right into the stereotype.
Yeah, man, he's Mr. Popo immediately. Scone! Just throw it right, you know. But he served his purpose. We never saw him again. You know, she opens, you know.
The 7 circles, like being force-fed carry-on scene was actually pretty interesting, I have to admit.
I like the 7 circle moments because that's where the movie kind of took a hard left turn because it turned into...
That's exactly where it took a hard left turn.
Yeah. It just turned into like Jacob's Ladder. You know what I mean?
It went straight
really
from...
Went through the shit after she met him. Like, she really went through the ringer.
Yep.
Oh,
for a while.
but she got the second sight. She got this, the third sight, man. The veil of the dead and the living just totally melted away for her.
Yeah, and Kurt started really suffering from it too.
Right.
Like that basement
it made
scene.
Stronger, it seemed, who eventually took or possessed him in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, like that basement scene was hilarious. Just like coming upstairs, haunted ass house. Like, why would you bury a body inside your own house? Oh my god.
Because home is where the heart is.
The
the literal heart is.
I hate that.
No, because that base, because he's like, get out of my head, right? And then we have the basement scene where it has one of the few jump scares in the movie. And she's like, now I'm in your head.
With his voice. With his voice. Yes.
Okay, so that you just brought something up. Okay, and I think maybe this could have answered the question, because it seems that she, like, okay, what I was going to ask earlier is did she consciously wait and decide to enter his head, or did she have to wait to get stronger, quote unquote, before she got into his head? Or did the incident between the black fella and her mother, in a sense, make her stronger?
That's a good question, because it can't be coincidence, right? Because right around when the seven circles were opened is when, like you said, when Echo started really getting stronger, and changing
he had full control of his body and everything. His voice. I mean, the dude sat down to pee and he basically almost wiped his vagina.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was
I didn't catch that. Okay, that bathroom scene freaked me out because I didn't catch that. I was waiting for something to happen, and he just gets up and leaves. I'm like, okay.
I didn't catch it at first either. It's just, I was like, okay, well, he's going pee. Right, whatever. And then it wasn't until he was like, what the fuck? Like, and he didn't literally say the words, but, he just looked around like, what am I doing?
Yeah, exactly. He had this confused look on his face.
That was her. Yeah. Yeah, he was terrified.
Oh my God, that's so cool. That just blew my mind because I was waiting. They had a lot of mirrors in that scene. So I was waiting for her face to pop up or something cliche, right?
Yeah,
well, Mike, have you considered this? Echo is a good name because she's also an echo as a ghost.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Exactly.
Synergy.
When the mom's walking down the road and she's calling her name, there is no echo. And I was waiting for it. I was waiting for an echo out in the mountains, out in the wilderness. There was not one, which is
the only time it echoed is during the hunt scene.
Right, during the hunt scene. That's right.
And even he said, it's
not
like
when she was looking for her though. Not once did her voice echo when she was looking for her. So I thought
because she was already there.
That's fair. I never actually considered that.
Because he was like, yeah, there's never an echo in these woods. Between the trees and the snow, it's impossible for an echo to carry. Mm-hmm. How's that possible? Then he started flipping out, and then they had that sick Matrix level gun battle in the middle of the woods. You know what I mean? That didn't happen. And it just
it's more like they just had like a 5-minute stare off, and then they had a hug.
Then they hugged it out. Okay. And I want to give a spoiler warning because I think we should starting to slip into spoilers in regards to the ending of this film.
Oh man, that ending was interesting.
Yes.
Right. I have so many questions.
So I'm going to go ahead and put the spoiler warning now. If you haven't seen this film, if you want to sign up with Arrow Video Channel's streaming service to watch this film now before we get into the spoilers, I definitely suggest it. I'm going to do a quick 2-second pause, and then we're going to jump right into spoilers. So pause this episode, watch the film, come back, and you can kind of hear us talk about how this movie ends. So let's go ahead and start that now.
There's a lot of false leads in this final cutscene.
Yeah, I didn't know what was happening, man. I was super confused because a lot of it I thought was like the seven circles messing with her, but then it wasn't. But then they were.
It's super hard to tell because even Echo is kind of throwing some whammies here and there. It seems like causing illusions and I don't know. Is she trying to help her mom? Is she trying to just fuck with Kurt too much that she doesn't really care about her mom at this point? I don't know.
And there was times I couldn't tell if they were actually talking to each other, if the mom was hallucinating.
It's extremely hard to tell.
Yeah, everything was kind of blended in. Blended in with itself.
Because Kurt died 3 times in that scene.
He did, exactly, which is why I thought every time he passed away was the mom just kind of basically hallucinating,
tripping, right? Because because there was the shrapnel to the ribs, right, that killed him.
Oh, I mean the screwdriver.
The
Yes.
screwdriver. And then there was screwdriver to the eye. And then finally the decapitation scene.
Well, no, the decapitation scene happened before that.
First. Yeah, the decapitation scene was first.
Okay,
And that was
good.
just an illusion. And then
Right.
Ivy turns around and sees Kurt there, and Kurt just goes, "She was sledding at night. She shouldn't have done that." And then Ivy just full on tackles him like a linebacker.
Yeah.
Ivy would sock you. Who would win in a fight between Ivy and Kathy Bates from Misery?
Oh, I still
Kathy
say
Bates?
Yeah.
She's
Bates.
she's insane.
Yeah.
Kathy Bates was buff in that movie, dude.
Oh, that too, actually.
Yeah.
She picked up a freaking Jimmy. She picked up Jimmy Kahn like a linebacker. She threw him over his shoulder. She was so beefy.
Kathy the Fridge Bates.
Dude, Kathy the Fridge, Doug. Anywho.
Okay, so speaking of the fight scenes, I thought the choreography was horrible. Like, it was a little bit. She was just kind of.
I agree. Yeah.
Little, just help me. Like, I don't know. It's a little weak.
I like how they have a destructible environment, like the raft, the railing, and whatnot gets knocked off, and both characters use it to club each other in the face.
Yeah, man, it gets pretty bloody.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And I love that final, like, that false lead of Kurt dragging Ivy up. You get from the window shot, and it's like, well, I guess he's going to win. And right when he takes the jigsaw to Ivy's ankle, she just wakes up, grabs that screwdriver, and just plunges it into his eye.
So was she playing possum?
She was playing possum, yeah. Because as soon as he got near, she took that screwdriver out of his ribs, whipped it back, and threw it right into his right eye.
Yeah, that is pretty badass. Oh.
Dude, how do you fight someone who can see all planes of existence, Doug? It's not fair. Don't tell me what to do.
Okay, now here's $1 million question. She really is a medium. Why the hell couldn't she find her own kid?
The veil was thick.
Is that,
the veil is thick.
Interesting. Okay. That being said, okay, do you guys remember the scene when she was tripping balls and she was
a clown?
She was a clown, and
I love that scene.
I love that scene. I think it's probably my favorite of the whole movie because she's looking into a mirror of what she does to her clients, and and she's treating herself like a piece of shit. She's laughing in her face. She's mocking her. The veil is thick, and she's doing her seance, but she's doing it in such a mocking tone, like
exactly.
Poking the ear, like, that scene was so good. It was
what I saw that as, and I may be wrong, is the clown is her. The clown is Ivy.
The clown is her. Yeah,
but the fortune teller is the seven circles.
No, I think I'm more so with Tootie on this. It's more so a reflection of how Ivy's treated everyone besides herself so far.
You know what? Even the brother that she went to go get the seven circles from said, "You've made a mockery of what we do."
Yes,
the seven circles are super pissed at you.
It was like how the turntables have turned moment.
And she taught him everything he knew as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So that makes more sense. I agree with you now in retrospect. Absolutely.
I mean, the tarot readings are also shot in like complete pitch blackness with no actual background. It's just the foreground characters.
It's very Queen Bohemian Rhapsody, right?
Yes, it's very much a clear focus on who is there and what they're doing. And they said from the very beginning with Miss something or other, I forgot what her name is, and she just has these very benign questions leading up to finding her husband, and she just goes, "Oh well," and it just really points out that to Ivy, her clients are just schmucks in the first place.
It's $50. They're literally walking in $50 bills. Is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes to my favorite scene of the movie, which is the tarot reading between Ivy and Kurt.
I can't believe you just mentioned that because I was about to do that. So
I love that scene.
By all means.
That scene, it's almost like they're playing chicken with each other.
Yeah, and Ivy just like cold reads them really quickly with like, what was it? I think it was the Judge, the Devil, and the 10 sword cards.
And the 10 swords. And she's like, yeah, you're not just going to die, you're going to suffer. But you know what? There is a silver lining, though. In every cloud, there's a silver lining. She's looking through him, and he's so shook by it that he goes to the bathroom. I think that's a perfect kind of like playing chicken with each other. And that's the moment Ivy's like, I got you. I got you. Like,
gotcha, bitch.
I got you, bitch. And he's completely aghast by her reading. And they play it perfectly. And I've never seen tarot explained so intricately in a film before.
Yeah, same. It was pretty impressive.
Because I didn't even know that's how it worked. She was like, what did she say? Insight, foresight, and there was one more.
Hindsight.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's how that worked. That's super cool. So I was just like, I've never seen tarot broken down. And that's one thing I take away from this film. It's like, that's very interesting. You know what I mean? It's a very interesting way to kind of do that. I've caught the killer, you know what I mean? Situations.
Yeah.
That is my favorite scene in the movie.
What was that last scene where it's Ivy and Kurt / Echo having a cup of hot cocoa together?
I love you, Mom. And then I was like, body swap for the win.
Okay,
Right.
so
I think that's all that was. Which for the entire film, I'm sorry, I thought it was kind of a cheap ending.
it is a cheap ending.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
I did-
It's not the greatest ending. I'm not gonna lie.
It was like a little bit of a wet blanket for me. You know,
'Cause-
cheese ball, very cheese ball.
The thing is-
Also, like,
yeah.
so it's just like that begs the question: like, do they just live together now?
Yep.
Does Ivy introduce Kurt as this is my daughter Echo, 14-year-old
Nah.
girl?
Right.
He's like, oh, this relationship is weird.
Do you
Nah,
guys
man.
remember the scene where essentially Echo carves the pumpkin and she hands it to, or Kurt hands it to Ivy,
Mhm.
and Ivy almost seems smitten by that moment because she doesn't realize, and to me, she doesn't realize it's Echo. But I can't. I guess maybe I'll watch it again and maybe she's seen through it and it is Echo and that's how she sees it. But as far as I saw it, I got mad, smitten. I'm attracted to you vibes.
Yeah,
Like
'cause I
maybe
don't,
she really does think it's Kurt being nice to her for some
for some strange reason, right?
Right. That's how I saw it. So,
Yeah.
like, back to what Austin just said. How do they live? Are they husband and wife?
Her husband and
Are they
wife.
daughter and that's her 14-year-old daughter. So
Yeah,
like,
that's disgusting. If they're
Nah,
husband and wife.
No, this is how you do it. It's just like you gaslamp it. You tell the world that you're husband and wife, but in the house, your daughter and mother.
So it's like people who say we're just sister and brother, but they're really fucking each other.
Exactly.
is it really,
Just like that. Just like
Is
that.
it really exactly?
Exactly like that.
It's a gaslighting.
1,000%.
Nailed it.
I've never heard Austin be so right.
Man, that hurts.
This is your truth, my man. Overall, lasting impressions. Austin, what's your lasting impression on this?
I would give this
Like, if you had to give this from 0 to 5 cinnamon coffee cake cappuccinos, what would you give it?
I'll take a good probably 2.5 or 3. It's not awful, but it's not like there's some clear points. I'm just like, come on, guys, what the hell are you doing? Kind of things, both for characters and for how the movie's made.
Perfect. Tootie, what's your verdict?
I'm pretty much right there with them. I want to give it a 3. You know what I mean? 3 cappuccinos is just lit enough. So yeah.
Not too hyper. See, I'm more of a 3.5 cappuccino kind of guy. You know, I want to be wired. I want to feel like I can punch through car windows. 3.5 is right down the middle for me. The things that stand out, I like the relationship between Ivy and not even Ivy and any other character. I like her relationship with Ivy in the spirit world. That's kind of the takeaway I take from this. Ivy was a really cool character with a lot of nuance. You know, every mother in the world would just be walking down an empty street looking for their child because who wouldn't? So I sympathize with Ivy a lot. The cinematography is amazing. I think this is very beautifully shot. The downsides for me, I can't not say anything about the ending. Like you said, the ending was a bit of a cop-out. 2 things I hate more as cinema cliches is the body swap and the depowering of a character. Those are the 2 things I hate. Absolutely. Didn't read Superior Spider-Man because it was a body swap. I don't care how good the book is. Fight me. But the movie itself, I liked. I would recommend it. I think it's a very interesting movie on the simple basis of, I think the idea of Ultra Tarot, our next level tarot, is an interesting concept. You know what I mean? Like,
I would agree. I would like more of that myself, honestly.
I want to know,
like
yeah.
haunted tarot cards.
Yeah, I want more of the lore this movie builds. It plays by its own rules, this movie does. And I want to learn more about that interesting 7-circle tarot world that we kind of get glimpses of.
Okay, I have a question real quick. Okay. Speaking of the 7 circles, now, was the 7th circle complete because Kurt killed the last sacrifice?
That's what I'm thinking.
Was Kurt supposed to be the last sacrifice? Like, I'm not, see, that was interesting because he wasn't involved in the other 6.
I think
So
it's
something of his importance being the one that killed him.
I think at that point, Echo already took over Kurt when he killed the 7 deer.
Oh, and do you think she realized? Ivy realized it already. So
And Ivy was like, "Oh, okay."
would literally make it the 7th full circle. So okay, that's cool. All
I
right.
think it's more so that like Echo was the first circle for like the entire thing to happen, and Kurt dying and being replaced by Echo was like this the culmination of the entire ritual come to fruition.
But there's also a scene where Kurt whispers to himself, "See, it's 7. It's complete." And then Ivy says, "What did you say?" And, he's like, "I don't know what I just said."
Yeah.
Oh,
He
that's
just
what.
kind of ignores her. You're right. Yeah. That's still Kurt. No, that's Echo.
That's Echo.
Yeah, that's Echo.
Yeah, Echo says, "This is 7."
Yeah.
And then Kurt snaps back out of it, and then it's back to Kurt. And Kurt's like, "I don't know what I just said."
Yeah.
'Cause
Interesting stuff. It really was a good movie. It really was until that damn ending, which is such a cliche ending. It's like
body
bummer.
swaps. Body swaps.
Body swaps are bad.
Can't with body swaps. This has been extremely enjoyable. We definitely want to do more content from Arrow video channel streaming service, which actually debuted in October. And we got the opportunity from them to watch this interesting movie made by this interesting family. And I would love to see more content. I would love to see a sequel to this, honestly. Like you said, how do they live, right? You know what I mean? Like, what's the concept there? Like, I would love to even see a sequel to this film.
No kidding, right?
The deep you deep.
Witchcraft doesn't just end when it just, you know what I mean? Doesn't just end.
There's no happy endings with witchcraft.
Shenanigans should probably ensue from this on.
I think I'll stick with Arrow's other content, such as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Ringu. Thank you very much.
Ooh,
Ringu. Did you know
that's
Ringu?
That's a terrifying ass movie, by the way.
Yeah, really.
Did you know that Ringu in Japanese means ring? You're thinking about it, aren't you?
All right, everybody. That has been another exciting episode of Absolutely of Nerdiverse.
Where can we find you, Tootie?
You can find me everywhere at Tootie, Tootie, Oh My Hero. And that's, everywhere. Just type it in. There it is.
She's on the internets, ladies and gentlemen.
The internets, the interwebs.
She's in your computer.
Until they shut us down.
Eventually.
Until they shut us down. That was my Alex Jones. That was my Alex Jones impression.
You know, InfoWars. I haven't had a reason to say those words in a very long time.
Horrible. Next
bit. Oh my God, Austin, where can we find you?
You can find me at Austin Halsey on Twitter and Twitch and whatnot. It's probably attached at the foot unwillingly, like some kind of saw contraption to Mike.
Yeah. Austin's Twitter handle is actually tattooed under my lip, and I show it at clubs to get in for free. That's how that works.
Takeshi 6ix9ine. Nice.
9.
Yeah, that's so nice to know.
Yeah. This is his first time hearing it, ladies and gentlemen. It's painful as hell. Speaking of things that are exquisitely painful, the beauty of pleasure and pain, you can always listen to more of our episodes on our website, which is mastersnerdiversecast.com, where we have all of our episodes, over 200 episodes archived at this point, with the ravings of our lunatics. And that covers comics, movies, video games, night pigs, all types of crazy stuff. Serpents that whisper into the ears in the Garden of Eden. It's all there. It's all interesting stuff. If you want to support us non-monetarily, you can also do that via our channels by liking our content, by subscribing to all of our channels, and by commenting on our posts, because as we know, feedback's important. If this is your first time listening to the Masters Nerdiverse podcast, I would like to say hello and thank you for joining the Nerdiverse. I've, of course, been your host, Mike G. I want to thank Austin and Toots for being on this episode. This is epic. I appreciate you both.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we will always ask you to look towards the skies. Look towards the skies.
The skies.
The skies.